The United States of America continues to embarrass itself constantly and nonstop. You guys have got to look at this video of Elon Musk with his kid on his shoulders in the Oval Office. And I want you to pay close attention to, number one, Donald Trump's defeated body language. And number two, Elon Musk doesn't flat out deny the question that the journalist asks him. Seth, play the clip.
Mr. Musk.
I have to, what?
Including a lot of Democrats.
I have detractors?
You do, sir.
I don't believe it.
Say that you're orchestrating a hostile takeover of government and doing it in a non-transparent way. What's your response to that criticism?
Well, first of all, you couldn't ask
Look
for
at
a
Trump.
mandate from the public. The public voted.
Look at him.
The majority of the public voting for President Trump.
Something is bad. This is not normal for
won
him.
the House, we won the Senate. The people voted for major government reform. There should be no doubt about that. That was on the campaign. The president spoke about that at every rally. The people voted for major government reform, and that's what the people are going to get. They're going to get what they voted for.
Okay, that's enough. So they asked him about his hostile government takeover, and he doesn't deny that that's what he is. He confirms it. He confirms, and he says, and at first he makes it sound like the people voted like for him, and then finally he jumps in and says President Trump. But I've never seen such deferential body language and affect from Trump. And we have been watching him now for a decade. I was never in on the Apprentice stuff, but at least since 2016, it's unbelievable what's going on. And this is the Oval Office. And by MAGA's logic, they voted because they didn't want foreigners,
Right.
un-American people, taking money from tax-paying Americans. And here you have this South African, and I know we have a lot of South African listeners, and we love you. We're talking about this specific one that you dumped over here on us.
Right.
That is literally going to each agency that had him under investigation, and he's rigging the system so that his companies can get all of the money. And I want to point out one thing. For all of you that have family members or friends that watch Fox News, they never, ever, ever mention all of the subsidies that Elon Musk gets from the government. They never report on it, ever.
What's so interesting about that whole take is, like you said, he's taking credit for it. You elected me. Nobody elected you, Elon Musk. And he never addresses the transparency. If you're saying there's all this fraud, don't just tell us, show us the documents, show us what you're talking about. And I don't mean him. I think he's vile and he has no business doing what he's doing. He's not a forensic accountant. He's not a government employee. He does not have the appropriate clearance, but he just sits up there and spews this hate bullshit. And of course, all the Fox Newsers are eating it up. But I like you, but I think MAGA voted for Black and brown immigrants to be taken out of the country. I think they're okay with white. But the Trump body language, I mean, if you cannot tell me that there is not a force bigger than what we're seeing going on, whether it's Putin controlling everything, whether it's criminal behavior, I don't know what it is, but that is not how Donald Trump acts.
Okay. And then we all know that Trump and Musk and all of the MAGA bros and the Doge dorks have been repeating this lie that the United States government shipped $50 million worth of condoms to Gaza and that Hamas made a bomb out of it. Donald Trump said it. I've heard it at least 2 to 3 times. Mm-hmm. Musk has said this. I've heard, Stephen Miller and all the other MAGA freaks say it. Listen to this question directly asked to Elon Musk right next to Donald Trump in the Oval Office. Play the clip.
Mr. Musk, you said on X that an example of the fraud that you have cited was $50 million of condoms was sent to Gaza. But after fact-check this, it apparently Gaza in Mozambique, and the program was to protect them against HIV. So can you correct the statements? It wasn't sent to Hamas, actually. It was sent to Mozambique, which makes sense why condoms was sent there.
Yeah.
And how can we make sure that all the statements that you said were correct? incorrect, so we can trust what you say?
Well, first of all, some of the things that I say will be incorrect and should be corrected. So nobody's going to bat 1,000.
Look at Trump. Okay, so here he says that he knows it's not true. And he says some of the things I'm going to say are going to be incorrect. And here he is going into all of these government agencies. Basically, it's a hostile takeover, which he didn't deny from the conversation, the question previous. And this whole lie, the damage is done. Mm-hmm. All of the MAGA dipshits are running around saying, well, Elon, he found out that we were sending $50 million of condoms over to Hamas, and those terrorists were making a bomb with it. It's done. The damage is done. You will never be able to correct it with the MAGA base because they thrive and breed, and conspiracy theories are like oxygen to them.
Well, what's interesting to me is that the MAGA base, they don't care if it's true or not. They prefer lies. They elected a liar. They know they did. I don't think they're interested in truth. They're interested in shock and awe and the 50 million condoms. But here's the deal. It seems like he is not in his right mind, Musk or Trump, but I'm specifically referring to Musk. I mean, I don't feel like that child's safe on his shoulders. He doesn't seem...
I have to jump in here and say, hold my beer, because let me tell you what he did last night at midnight. Seth, put up the photo, Seth. Last night, he changed his Twitter name to Harry Balls, and he sent out between the hours of 2:30 and 5 a.m. 200 tweets.
No.
And his bio read, he's since changed it, but his bio read, circumcisions at a discount, now 69% off. By Harry Balls. And this is the man that has Donald Trump, the president of the United States, on a leash. We saw the body language. We saw how defeated he is. A guy, this is who's in charge of the federal government right now. Right. He made his Twitter profile Harry Balls. Pumps and I have 4 sons between us. They did this when they were in middle school and thought it was just a real knee slapper. They've grown out of it at this stage. And the youngest of the 4 of our sons is 18. And so this is just, I mean, come on. This is all of these patriots. Hey, patriots. And America's the shiny place on the hill. Are you kidding me? I cannot believe that we are having to report on this, that this guy who's standing in the Oval Office the night before on his Twitter account, Harry Balls.
I'm not a great mather, but that's more than 1 tweet a minute. I mean, that's like 3. He's a nut. No normal person tweets over 200 times in 3 hours. That's insane. And he's got his kid up there. He doesn't look steady on his feet. Trump's looks like shit. I mean, he just looks defeated and impotent. This is a clown show. Like, this is buffoonery. If it wasn't so dangerous and terrifying that he's taking over the government, I might have a good laugh at Harry Balls, because I'm thinking, okay, the person that you elected president of the United States has somebody going in with no accountability, no transparency, and he's so sharp that he thought he would change his social media name to Harry Balls. Because that's funny.
Well, and what's so horrible about all of this is what's lurking out there right now for the people that watch this is the judiciary and the federal judges that are rejecting all of these executive orders, that are shutting down a lot of the actions that Elon Musk is taking as illegal actions. And where we are really going to get things are going to get dire is if they do not follow the courts. And for those of you that have studied World War II, it took Hitler 58 days to completely demolish the democracy in Germany. We're on day like 23, 24. We've got a ketamine addict who we have video evidence of him tripping balls at the inauguration. We've got Trump, who clearly has dementia, and he doesn't understand the difference between an insane asylum and those seeking asylum, who rambles on about Hannibal Lecter. But it gets worse. So even in the last 3 to 4 days, you know that he's talked about that he's going to develop Gaza. And, I guess it's this is his new America First agenda. And so here he is in the Oval Office with the King of Jordan and his favorite little punching bag, Lil Marco.
Buy Gaza, and today you just said we're not going to buy Gaza.
We're not going to have to buy. We're going to have Gaza. We don't have to buy. There's nothing to buy. We will have Gaza.
What is that?
No reason to buy. There is nothing to buy. It's Gaza. It's a war-torn area. We're going to take it. We're going to hold it. We're going to cherish it.
Okay, this is so devoid of any sense of humanity, any sense of leadership, of diplomacy, of acknowledging facts. It's estimated around 500,000 Gazans died, and that they have, Benjamin Netanyahu is an absolute war hawk, and it reminds me very much of Dick Cheney after 9/11. And he has, annihilated Gaza, and you have lots of human beings in Gaza, and that is their home. And Trump talks about this as though it's like some piece of land that's been deserted. And to be able to say that and not acknowledge the powder keg of history in every single word that comes out of his mouth. This is the end of any form of American leadership as far as leading democracies around the world. This is humiliating. This is embarrassing. If you look at little Marco's face in the video, he's cringing so badly because he knows better. I don't know how all of these men get castrated once they have a conversation with Trump. I don't understand it. J.D. Vance will not stand up for his biracial kids, for his Indian wife. Marco Rubio is such a whipped puppy. I'm so embarrassed for these people. Marco seemed to feel a little bit of the embarrassment there, but this is like a 911 5-alarm fire.
Well, here's the thing. I would say Marco Rubio was tensing up, but these people lost shame a long time ago. They are so power hungry. But what was interesting to me in that press conference that Trump had, a reporter asked, under what authority are you going to go in and take over Gaza? And he goes, U.S. authority. Like he doesn't even understand anything about anything. Like you said, he's completely devoid of reality. Don't you know the King of Jordan was just like, who the hell is this nut with the horrible makeup? I mean, it's sad, and it's terrifying what he's doing to the government. I cannot imagine what Europeans and people that live outside of the United States are thinking about us. I mean, we know what Canada's thinking, and good for them because they're right. But it's an embarrassment.
None of this is going to help calm the anti-Semitic sentiments that have risen up. None of this is going to help the situation between Israel and Gaza and the hostage situation and these families that desperately want their family members to be released by Hamas. None of this is going to help the Gazans who have been murdered by the hundreds of thousands, babies, women, kids, hospitals bombed. This is so void of any sense of empathy or humanity. And it's just devastating to see American leadership be so diabolical and sociopathic and just transactional about human beings. And it's just really difficult to watch. Anyway, all right, we'll see you all later.